to say this man is a disgrace to the British royal family, to say this man is so diminished that he would now leave his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, rolling in her grave. To say this man is crude and rude and a bully and a homophobe and all of those things that he has proclaimed he is not over the past few years is also an understatement. And honestly, no wonder Prince William wants nothing to do with his younger brother who has become a disgrace. No wonder the mainstream media is completely ignoring this podcast interview with the rugby star Joe Marler because, trust me, it only makes Prince Harry look like a terrible douche. Certainly not a man who should remain in the line of succession. Certainly not a man who should remain a counsellor of state. Certainly not a man who should be granted an audience with King Charles. Trust me, I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to show you just how crude and rude and disgusting this man is. No wonder Meghan Markle wants nothing to do with him these days. And you know I'm no fan of hers. Things started very badly when Prince Harry was asked his occupation by Marler. By the way, in case you're wondering, Marler, big rugby star in the United Kingdom who went on to find fame as one of the stars of The Traitors Celebrities, asked Harry's occupation, and it became clear that the only thing he still leans on is being a royal. Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now. So Harry thinks he's hilarious here. This is the problem. He's been given this captured audience, but as Princess Carparkle put it, no, love. You quit the prince job. You might still have the title for now, but it's not your occupation. Neither is Duke. Full-time, stay-at-home dad sounds about right. According to Taz, adding, Duke is not an occupation. It was given to him as he was meant to do a job, but he quit. He might be a prince of the UK, but not the prince. He is not the inventor or founder of the Invictus games, and it's so obnoxious he takes credit for the huge team of people that did create it and made it happen. Also notice, there is no mention of Uchwell. But look, if that start was embarrassing enough, things descend very quickly as the innuendo turns into an open discussion about the sex images platform OnlyFans. You are a prince, you embarrassment. If the interview starts going down that course, you stop the recording, you walk out, okay? Or you certainly don't lead it down a dark path. But what we're seeing here is the real Prince Harry, who has been protected for so long. Because asked about his grooming routine, he decides to talk about something he describes as shit, shower, and shave, leading to a truly repulsive conversation about his pubic hair that is completely unbecoming. The latest bombshells from Harry and Meghan that the Montecito Mafia and the rest of the media are desperate to hide. Subscribe right now for the real story with zero spin and zero censorship. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you're with me. There's nothing cute about this. There's nothing ordinary about this. It's not about Harry the cheeky chappy. This is just about a man who is degrading what he should be about. A man who has spent years trying to convince us that he is some type of amazing academic thinker, that he's an intellect, that he's fighting for true causes. Whereas actually, do you know what Harry wants to do? Harry wants to drive a conversation about people shitting themselves on a motorway. I'm not even joking. I promise you this happened, and I'm sorry that you have to hear it. P-Diner, royal YouTube sensation. It's not hilarious, is it? This man is revolting. Can you believe that he's doing this to the British royal family?
Yeah, so Dan, I don't know what to say. I believe Harry has put himself in a position where he is trying to keep up with the mainstream. He is trying to appear cool, if you call that cool. And it's very unbecoming of a man who is the son of the king. He's degraded himself, and he's going to continue to do it. I think he feels emboldened by the life that he has now, considering he can come and go. His dad will grant him time. He still has his adjacent life to the monarchy, and he feels like he can just go do whatever he wants to do just so he can appear as if he is with the in crowd. not really holding true to who he is and what he is supposed to represent.
But maybe
That's
he
what it
never
looks
was
like.
that, though, Pete Diner. I think this is Prince Harry. I think Prince Harry is a 41-year-old man-child who wants to talk about shitting himself and his pubic hair. I actually think that is the real Prince Harry, and everything else has been a construct, a creation, and we're now seeing the real man. He's vacuous. There's nothing there. Everything else has just been a creation by Meghan or by David Sherborne or by royal courtiers. This is actually the real Harry.
Right. But here's the difference. He was always within the royal circle to be protected, to have his image cleaned up or to help him with that. Right now, he doesn't have anyone around him controlling anything that he does. Who would advise him to even go on this show? I'm sure they have done these kinds of talks before. It's not new. So, Harry's just out there doing whatever he wants to do because he doesn't have the reins, the controls around him, and no one's giving him good advice. He's just going to continue to make his reputation mud. He's going to look like a man-child continually and never have these images or these things that he is doing, you know, better in terms of different choices when you go out and do events or go on a podcast. Like, this was completely ill-advised, I think, to even go on the show because this is what they do, these men, right? Someone who is supposed to be the son of the king should not be going on a podcast like this, is how I see it.
Then, attempting to prove his comedy chops, Prince Harry claimed he wasn't ginger and bizarrely joked about being bullied at school and needing therapy. Now, remember, he's joking about this now. He's just joking about bullying, joking about therapy. He doesn't take it seriously, even though mental health is something that he claims is part of his life's work.
An absolute storm of controversy has just erupted over Prince Harry's latest media appearance, and royal observers are calling it a complete disaster for the image of the monarchy. While the Duke of Sussex recently quieted down to focus on family and charity, his decision to sit down on a highly unfiltered British comedy podcast has completely backfired. Today, we are breaking down the shockwaves rippling through the royal household after Harry's appearance on Joe Marler Will See You Now. From graphic, crude locker room banter to bizarre jokes about school bullying and therapy, critics are calling this the ultimate brand crisis. We're exposing why royal insiders believe this has permanently damaged his standing, why his claim of being a full-time dad has reignited family friction, and the brutal reason why Prince William is reportedly more distant than ever. If you thought the royal drama had finally settled down, think again. The structural integrity of Prince Harry's carefully curated public brand was just shaken to its core. For years, the Duke of Sussex has presented himself as a solemn, dignified survivor of family trauma, a serious advocate fighting for global mental health and veterans' causes through his beloved Invictus games. But all of that carefully constructed PR just collided head-on with a chaotic, locker room-style podcast interview hosted by England rugby star Joe Marler. Today, we are analyzing the massive fallout from this interview. Let's start with the opening minutes of the interview, which set a bizarre and awkward tone right out of the gate. When asked by the host to introduce himself and state his occupation, the Duke of Sussex visibly hesitated. He listed off, full-time dad, British Army veteran, Prince of England, Duke. Ultimately, they agreed to just go with Duke. But as royal writers have swiftly pointed out, Duke is a title, not a job. By listing Prince of England and Duke as his day jobs, Harry is leaning heavily on the very royal status he claimed he wanted to step away from. Even worse, the host jokingly asked if he was the inventor of the Invictus games. While Harry corrected him to founder, critics have pointed out how incredibly self-serving it looks to absorb the credit for an event that was built by a massive, dedicated team of military and sports professionals behind the scenes.
Oh, it's just such a joke, isn't it? Because Harry was never bullied. Let's just be honest about it. Harry is the bully. You can see it. There was lots of rugby banter. Now look, lots of rugby banter is about gay sex. Doesn't offend me at all. As a gay man, doesn't offend me. I just want to put that on the table. None of this offends me. I just think it makes him a weirdo loser. But what it does do is go completely against Harry's own woke credentials. Pete Donor, you're hitting on me, he says. It's weird, he says. Oh, so being gay is weird, is it, Harry? As I say, I'm not offended by that, but I wonder what Tyler Perry would have to say, Pete Donor. I wonder what Meghan Markle would have to say. Again, the real Prince Harry is nothing like the woke Prince Harry that he's tried to present himself as.
I think he's just trying too hard. He's just doing too much. I don't understand Harry And, when he tries to come off like this person who is so down and can say all these different things and appear like he is like with the woke. I mean, he just comes off very cringe to me, uncomfortable. Do you see how red he is? To me, Harry is an embarrassment. I'm sorry. I don't find anything cute, funny, charming about anything that he is saying or doing.
None of it. Because when royals are cute and funny, Pete Diner, it's like when you see Prince William on that interview he did not so long ago with Amanda Holden and Jamie Thigpen, where he's giving just a little bit of himself, but he also carries himself with the dignity of what it means to be royal. And Harry is so aware, isn't he, of everything that's around him, going on around him. So do you remember that awkward conversation the other day on James Corden's World Cup show, which apparently Harry is meant to be appearing on at some point this week, unless he's pulled out, because remember, James Corden announced it on air. And there was a discussion about who the most famous or well-liked Harrys in the United Kingdom are. Like, is it Harry Potter? Is it Harry Styles? Or is it Harry Kane, who's the captain of the England football team? And James Corden and none of the guests actually said Prince Harry. So this was a conversation that then was moved to the podcast, where Harry himself said he would want to swap lives with the England captain Harry Kane. However, what he also did was make a bitchy little dig at Harry Kane. Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now. The look he made, by the way, P. Diner, after he made that joke about Harry Styles and tight shorts, a little gay jibe there again. And then see him having a go at Harry Kane's voice. That's our lovely, kind Duke. Isn't he a lovely man, P. Diner? Not at all.
No, not at all. I think he likes to take little jokes at people. He doesn't really respect people. I think he considers people a lot of times the butt of the joke. I think sometimes Harry just wants to be somebody that is, quick, lighthearted. He can make a little whippy, snappy joke and still come off as cool. And he really doesn't. He's irritating, matter of fact. I mean, he makes me not like him even more just by seeing him on this podcast.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, isn't it, Pete Diner? Because you go on a podcast like this to try and change people's view about you. If you're someone like Prince Harry, it's to show, I'm a relatable guy. That's what it's about. Whereas actually, I think what we see here is a lot of the nasty sides of Harry, which we have seen come out through his recent media work, the book and the Netflix show. There was also a conversation about trashy TV shows. What I was interested within at P. Diner is that Prince Harry admitted he used to watch Love Island. Remember Love Island, previously presented by his ex, the late Caroline Flack. Watch.
But the title debate was nothing compared to how quickly the conversation descended into pure, unfiltered locker room banter. If the palace spent decades trying to protect Harry's image, this podcast blew the doors off those efforts. The hosts guided Harry into a graphic discussion about personal grooming downstairs, leading to a highly bizarre exchange about his own pubic hair and the phrase, shit, shower, shave. The conversation got even cruder, moving into stories about roadside incontinence on the M25 motorway. This is where the severe tonal whiplash comes in. 1 week, the Duke of Sussex is taking major media corporations to court, claiming his absolute right to privacy and demanding to be treated as a serious, dignified public figure. The next week, he is willingly discussing the state of his private parts on a comedy podcast. This is a massive brand contradiction that has left public relations experts completely baffled. And the crude jokes are only the tip of the iceberg.
But of course, we'd managed to get through a whole podcast without any type of drug references. Oh, don't worry. At the end, Harry finds it hilarious that one of his lollies may have been laced in ketamine.
Yes.
You get a lolly each.
Wonderful, great.
Only one's laced in ketamine. You've got to decide which one.
Oh, guys, JJ Chalmers and the Duke, everybody! Meghan, please, Janet, I'll see you out.
Cheers.
All the very best.
Hey?
What a session.
What a team.
I'm sure we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
What a man. JJ Chalmers and the Duke, everybody! Duke. Whoa!
The tragic thing is that Prince Harry really did believe he'd turned it around with that interview, but Tom Sykes, writing in the Royalist Substack, it's quite a headline, Harry Joe Marler, and the pubic hair problem. He writes that Harry's trying to do a Mike Tyndall. That is what this appearance is. And the problem, the whole reason I ended up going, what am I watching, is that the Tyndall move requires you to be uncomplicated. And Harry has gone to great lengths to let us know he is the most complicated man in Britain. Netflix Harry memoir, Harry mental health advocate, Harry sued the tabloids, Harry took the palace to court, Harry Oprah, Harry trauma, Harry meet lads on tour, Harry doing bit comedy about incontinence on the M25. The tonal whiplash is dizzying. But if the point was to promote Invictus, the thing that is actually his best and most defensible claim on public attention, then the pubic hair clip has to have you asking, is he the right guy for the patron of Invictus job anymore? Not because he doesn't care, he clearly does, but because everywhere he goes, he brings all of himself, all the baggage, all the contradictions, all the versions, and they wrestle for airtime, and the show ends up being about him, and never quite about the thing he came to promote. I don't think anyone will clutch their pearls about a prince swearing. The king probably swore. Charles definitely swears. I'm just brand baffled. 40 minutes of a man who has spent a decade telling us he is a serious, wounded, dignified survivor of an institution that failed him, telling us what his private parts and pubic hair look like. See, P. Diner, I love that column, by the way. But I actually do think people are going to clutch their pearls here, because why do we love the British royal family, P. Diner? Because there's a class. Because they're meant to sit a class above dodgy celebrities, dodgy Love Island stars, dodgy movie stars who we know everything about. And a royal interview, P. Diner, is so rare, or at least it used to be so rare, and it's historic. So, for example, call me a geek, but I sometimes like going back and listening to, for example, Princess Margaret on Desert Island Discs, the BBC show, because you hear some true classy royalty, but it makes me shudder that in the years to come, Harry has reduced the royal family to that. Royals should not be doing that. That is why he is not a royal. He must never be a royal. And I'm sorry if some people are saying I'm clutching my pearls. I have heard from people, P. Diner, who say, oh no, this interview is great and it makes him more likable and it makes him more relatable. But I am just not there at all. I thought it was an embarrassment, actually.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the demographic for this podcast.
No, neither am I.
It was just so cringe for me. Harry just looks like he is trying to, once again, be in on with the in crowd, and he's just out there running loose, running wild, doing any and whatever he wants to do, just diarrhea of the mouth, saying any and everything, and not really trying to understand, you know, why we love the royal family. He is putting himself in a position now that is putting stain on the monarchy because of his alignment with the monarchy. I find it just disgusting, reprehensible. It is not okay, and he needs to be reined in, absolutely reined in. He has no guidance.
Well, I think it's now impossible for him to be reined in, and I think that's why he has to be cast out. Do you see what I mean? Because to me, P. Diner, this podcast proves he's never going to be reined in. He was recording this podcast just before going to meet the king. It's so astonishing to me that I believe it is proof, P. Diner, that this is a man who will never act appropriately. Because if we think about the wider week, P. Diner, he also released the statement about the judiciary and calling the judgment of his king's top judge a whitewash. So do you see what I mean? I think Harry's behavior in the United Kingdom proves he will never be reined in. That is why the only answer is exile. Unfortunately, we have a king who has refused to do that. So we're going to continue on with the situation where I think Harry and this behavior, and I don't say this with any joy, keeps chipping away at the popularity of the British royal family. And that's very, very sad to me.
Yes, absolutely. He does need to be just kicked out of the club. Just kick him out because he doesn't know what to do while in the club, you know? Right? He just that's the only option, because we've seen by how he has, you know, been out in the world loose, running wild, you know, doing whatever and saying whatever, that he just doesn't know how to maintain that level of true royalty. Even though he is no longer a working royal, there is still a certain decorum and way that you should be behaving as someone who is of the royal family. And so you can't do the things that make us look good, the monarchy look good, then you have to be kicked out. That's the only other option. And I think it just gives more proof for, you know, William when he becomes king, you know, have a lot of things to look at as to why he does need to be kicked out, because of things and situations like this. It's more proof that he does need to be kicked out.
Critics are rightly pointing out the utter hypocrisy. You cannot base your entire global philanthropic brand on the serious, delicate nature of mental health and childhood trauma, only to turn therapy into a cheap punchline on a rugby podcast. It shows a staggering lack of self-awareness and severely undermines his credibility as a serious global advocate. The contradictions didn't stop there. Throughout the interview, the hosts engaged in typical boys' club rugby banter, with the hosts jokingly making suggestive comments toward Harry. Harry laughed it off, but critics have noted that this casual old-school banter flies directly in the face of the highly progressive, socially conscious image he and Meghan Markle try to project from Montecito. Even more telling were the petty, snide jokes Harry chose to make about other public figures. When asked which famous Harry he would swap lives with for a day, he took a direct swipe at England football captain Harry Kane, making a jab about Kane's famously high-pitched, squeaky voice. He also made a bizarre crack about Harry Styles running around in tight shorts. For a man who constantly preaches about kindness, compassion, and online bullying, taking cheap shots at other public figures' voices and appearances is a very bad look. What this podcast ultimately proves is why Prince William has reportedly drawn such a permanent, unshakable line in the sand. While Prince William and Princess Catherine have also done casual media appearances in the past, they have always managed to show warmth and humor while maintaining the ultimate dignity of what it means to represent the crown. They give a little of themselves without dragging the monarchy into the mud. By contrast, Harry's appearance has left many royal commentators feeling that he has reduced his royal-adjacent life to the level of a reality TV star. As royal writer Tom Sykes pointed out, Harry tried to pull off a Mike Tyndall move, aiming to look like an uncomplicated, down-to-earth guy. But because Harry's entire brand is built on being highly complicated, defensive, and traumatized, the resulting whiplash is nothing short of painful to watch. The podcast has aired, the public reactions are pouring in, and the debate over Prince Harry's royal status is hotter than ever. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Prince Harry's casual, crude banter on the podcast was just a harmless, relatable moment of fun, or do you agree with critics that it was completely unbecoming of the son of the king and damages his charity work? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm heading down there right now to read and reply to what you have to say. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an unfiltered royal update.